In 1963, in a small town in central Turkey, a man was renovating his home when he knocked through a wall and found a room he had never known was there. Behind that room was a tunnel, and the tunnel went down. As archaeologists followed it, the passages kept descending, past one floor, past 5, past 18, opening into a city carved deep enough and hidden well enough to have sheltered as many as 20,000 people. This is Derinkuyu, an entire underground city sunk as much as 85 meters into the earth, roughly the height of a 20-story building, turned upside down and buried. And the strangest part is where it was hiding. Not in some distant desert, but directly beneath a living town. People farmed and built and went about their days on the surface, while the full scale of the world beneath them had slipped out of memory. What they uncovered wasn't a cellar or a hiding hole. It was a world. As many as 18 levels of rooms carved out of soft volcanic rock, stables for animals on the upper floors, communal kitchens, their ceilings still black with ancient soot, storerooms, wine and oil presses, chapels, even a room believed to be a religious school. This was not a place to hide for a night. It was a place to live. If lost cities and buried history pull you in, stay with me, because the deeper we go, the stranger this place becomes. Because Derinkuyu wasn't just built to be lived in, it was built to be sealed. At the mouth of each level stood a great circular door of solid stone, like a millstone, some weighing half a ton. They were designed to be rolled across the passage and braced from the inside, so that anyone caught on the wrong side would have found them almost impossible to shift. A small hole pierced the center, perhaps to see through or to drive a spear through. An attacker who found a doorway would have struggled to force it. The people below could seal themselves in, roll the world shut behind them and wait. And they could wait for a very long time. More than 50 ventilation shafts run from the surface to the lowest floors, breathing fresh air into the deepest dark. And cut down through the heart of the city is a well, one that appears not to break the surface above. The likely effect was simple but vital. A water source hidden from anyone camped overhead, and far harder to find or to poison from above. Below ground, the city could drink in relative safety. Think about what that means. A whole community, families, livestock, food, faith, could descend into the earth, seal the doors, breathe, drink, and live for weeks or months, while whatever they feared passed by overhead. An entire population with the ability to vanish. The question that has haunted Derinkuyu ever since is simple. Who builds a city to disappear into? And what were they so afraid of? And here the mystery only deepens because we still don't truly know who began it. The most common answer is the Phrygians, an Iron Age people who may have cut the first levels around the 8th or 7th century before Christ. Some researchers reach back further still, to the Hittites, centuries earlier again, though the evidence for that is thin. The honest truth is that no one can give you a firm date. The problem is, the rock itself, Derinkuyu, is carved from tough, soft volcanic ash, easy to dig with simple tools but holding no organic material. And without organic material there is nothing to carbon date. The walls keep their own age a secret, so we are left reading pottery, coins, and the style of the carving, and they tell us this city was not built in one lifetime. It was dug and deepened and extended by hand across hundreds of years. By the Byzantine period, we are on much firmer ground. In the early centuries of the Christian era, as armies and raiders swept across this land, Christian communities clearly enlarged the city and used it as a refuge, sometimes for months at a time. They carved chapels, a cruciform church, even a baptistry into the deep rock, and held their faith in the dark, while the danger above burned itself out. Generation after generation, the people of this region learned the same lesson. When the world becomes dangerous, go down. But people have been going underground here long before that. Around 370 years before Christ, the Greek soldier Xenophon marched through Anatolia. and wrote of villages where the people lived underground. Homes entered through a narrow mouth, like a well, with their animals and grain stored safely below. He never names Derinkuyu, but his words are the oldest written echo we have of a people who had already made the earth their shelter. Because Derinkuyu was never alone. It is the largest, but it is one of many. At least 36 underground cities have been mapped across Cappadocia, and some believe the true number, counting the smaller warrens, may run past 200. New ones are still being found. Derinkuyu is even said to be joined to another great city, Li, by a tunnel some 9 kilometers long, though only pieces of that passage have ever been traced. This was not one strange place. It was a whole landscape, honeycombed beneath the surface. A mystery this deep invites wilder answers. Some have tried to tie Derinkuyu to ancient scripture, to a Persian legend of an underground refuge built to outlast a killing winter. Or, further still, to claim that no ordinary people could have carved something so vast, and that the builders must have had help from beyond the stars. But stand in those passages, and the truth is more impressive than any of it. The chisel marks are human. The tools were simple. There is nothing here that determined, frightened, well-organized people could not have dug from soft stone with their own hands. Across centuries of fear and faith, the marvel of Derinkuyu isn't that it's alien, it's that it's us. So we return to the question we cannot fully answer. What does it take to make an entire people learn to vanish? Not once, but for 1,000 years. Raiders, armies, empires, persecutions, wave after wave of danger crossing this open plateau, until going underground was simply how you survived. Derinkuyu is what fear looks like when a civilization refuses to die. They didn't build walls to fight. They built a door they could close on the whole world. And here is the detail that lingers. Most of Derinkuyu is still closed. Only about 8 of its levels are open today. The deepest floors, the far tunnels, and much of that wider network beneath Cappadocia have never been fully explored. The town of Derinkuyu still sits on top of it all. People live their ordinary days above a city of the dark that we have only half uncovered, and may never fully map. We like to imagine our ancestors building upward, towers, temples, monuments reaching for the sky. But beneath a quiet Turkish town, thousands of them spent centuries building the opposite, a masterpiece of stone and engineering aimed straight down into the earth, not to be seen, but to disappear. They left no inscription to explain themselves, only the city and the great round doors still waiting in the dark. And the question they leave us is the one we started with. If a place this vast could hide for so long directly beneath our feet, what else is still down there, under the ground we think we know?